taken that I have shared the entire folder, meeting folders within my drive. I've shared. Are you able to access it? Yes, Ananya. Okay, fine. Next is the PPT I sent it. Okay. Now, the other thing was, yes, the recorded session I have sent this and the PPT. Yes, one of you had messaged. I don't know who was it, asking me, ma'am, it is not the complete PPT. Actually, I have the complete PPT. I did not share only the last class topic. The first also I did not want to share because there were some things which I wanted to add. Only the current process, software process, because you were asking that you wanted to go through. That's the reason I sent only that PPT. The entire module PPT, once I complete, only then I will be able to send it. Is it okay? Now, is there any doubts you have? Anything you want to ask me? No, I want you to ask now itself. I don't want individual WhatsApp messages at whatever time you want you sending me. If there is something, please let me know. I will answer so that everyone will know what is it. Any issues? Regarding where to write your assignments, I spoke with HOD ma'am. She said those who can come to college and take your assignment books, that is the 6 books for physics subject, you can come and take. Those who are not here or they are unable to come or whatever it is, you can keep a new book and write. Now you can write in a pages a staple, that is what she said. But I want in my subject to keep, I want you to keep a book, because software engineering there is too much to write. I mean, it will be more than one book. Most of the students, your juniors, actually they completed one book by the time they finished 3 assignments. So you will require a book, and I don't want you to write in pages and you lose those pages. So I would prefer, if you are not able to come to college and take assignment books, you can take any book of yours and start writing. Fine with that? Did I clear your doubts? Now I want you to respond. Who was the person who was asking me about it? It's there is nothing like fixed dates I have, but during the working time, 9:30 to 4:30, and when there are no holidays. Actually, nowadays we are working on Saturdays also, so Saturday also it is fine. You can come, but check whether it is a college holiday in the college calendar of events due to some festival. Yeah, I think so. I leave it to you. But it is not mandatory, I'm telling you. You need not have to risk yourself and come. Did you understand? Don't tell at home that they are asking compulsory we should go. Please don't do that. I'm telling you now if you are comfortable. Otherwise, if you're not safe, if you feel, please don't come. I have no issues with that. You write in any book, I'm okay with that. Am I clear about it? Yes? I don't want anyone later telling me that this, and I will not be responsible for any of your something happens also. So I will leave it to you. If you want to come and take, you can take. The books have come in the college. Otherwise, you want to write in a separate book of your own, you are most welcome. Okay. It is your individual choice. But please don't take risk and come. Fine with that? And this is regarding SE subject. Okay. I've given you permission, you can write in book. But regarding the other subjects, you have to ask the concerned faculty. Did you get it? If it is ADE, if it is CEO, or if it is networks, you will ask the individual faculty. Fine? Yes, did you get it? Because each faculty, they are having something else in their mind. That's the only reason I don't want to conflict. So this is for SC what I am telling. You once confirm with the other faculty for their subject also. Okay. Let's start with today's class. Now, is day before's class. How many of you have gone through it? Did you study actually? No, this one I wanted. You were all messaging me in the evening, 8 o'clock also night. Ma'am, where is PPT? Where is assignment? Now I want to know how many of you are went through it. I thought all of you would have prepared today and would have come attending the class. Come on, fine. How many of you have done? Why no responses? No one. I don't know who was that person who sent that message also. Come on, no one has. Then you were like, you recorded assignment, you wanted PPTs. Now you have had the time to look into it also. Is it? Pond. Okay. But this will not continue like this. By next class, I want everyone to give presentations. 5 minutes. Okay. Let's start with software processes. Actually, I have done, but because you said I went a little bit fast, I will try to explain it today again. See, basically, software processes has four activities. One is specification, the other one is design and development, then validation and evolution. Are you all clear about it? No doubts? No doubts, right? The software process activities are divided into four steps. One is the specification. Specification is nothing but gathering requirements. Second one, what you have is design and development. That is, you design a system that is nothing but a plan and then you develop it. Next, you have validation, that is nothing but testing. Then you have evolution. Now, in this topic, what we are doing is we are expanding these four properties. See, your entire software engineering subject is nothing but these four activities. Please understand, your entire software engineering is nothing but revolves these four things: specification, design and development, validation and evolution. There is nothing apart from that. What they try to do is they explain, they gave you in one line. Now they keep on explaining it within pages together. Okay, what it means, the requirements gathering only you can have it for one module or two module, or I can say it can be a complete new subject. Actually, designing is nothing but object oriented. You have a type of design known as OOMD, that is a complete subject. So it is so vast. I mean, it sounds that only single word, but that single word can cover an entire subject, textbooks together. So here, this software processes activities will just explain them in the next level. I mean, from one line, they explain it to the paragraph. Next, you again have the requirements again, which is will be like expanding within a page. Are you understanding? You might tell, ma'am, you told it in the first day. Now we are today telling, yes, tomorrow also I will say about requirements only. There is another topic by name requirements. And design and development, today I will tell in the in the second module you have the entire module, second and third, which is based on design. So what we are trying to do is we are expanding the same thing and adding concepts to it, or adding more to it. It is like we start, I say do write one line, then one paragraph, then one page, one book. Did you understand? So your entire software engineering is nothing but these 4 or 5 activities which you will be learning more and more in depth. Did you first get this, all of you? Yeah? Did you understand what the subject is now? Yes or no? You're sleeping. So again, if you're sleeping today, then you will not say, "Ma'am, I could not understand." So please understand, it is the only those 4 steps which are expanded and more depth is added to these 4 steps. Okay, so you might tell, "Ma'am, you're telling the same points." Yes, I'm telling because the same things are there, but we are trying to add more to it. Fine. Use last what we studied was requirement specification is nothing but to know what the system does. Now I am expanding it in specification only, that is requirement engineering process only. We have 4 steps. Okay, or it involves 4 activities. So, first of all, what is the specification? This specification tells what are the services that are required by the system, or what are the operations or what the system has to do, that is given within the specification. And also it gives the constraints, that is there are certain things under which the system should operate, that also is given with specification. What are the services and what are the constraints within the system operation is given within this software specification. We divide the software specification, that is the requirement engineering process, into 4 steps. Did you get it? Now I'm expanding it. The requirements only I'm telling is divided into 4 steps. What are those 4 steps? First is a feasibility study. What do I mean by feasibility study? Feasibility study means here we check whether when we try to understand the system and see whether I can actually develop it or not. That is simply saying yes I will do will not solve the purpose. I have to check whether the system can be developed or not. Now there are a way in which I can say that it can be developed or not. One is whether we have enough software and hardware technologies to develop it. That is there the technology available to develop that system? Now a client gives a requirement. I will come, let's say I want to, I come up with a requirement. VTU says you combine AICT portal, that is your AICT central portal with the VTU portal. Technically, with government, is it feasible? Can you complete? Can you combine a central government or a government thing this with the VTU, the central government AICT portal with VTU portal? Is it possible? Yes. Is it possible? No, right? Now, if VTO says do that as a customer or as a software company, will you agree with it? Is it feasible? Can you combine that? No, right? Similarly, what we are doing, he gives the requirement. The customer will give you the requirement. In feasibility study, what you are trying to do is you will check whether it is practically possible or not. There may be so many hurdles in that, technically possible, technical software, everything. Here it is not technical, I can say it is management thing which is not possible. So there may be so many reasons to by so that the system will not work. So the feasibility study will tell us whether the system can be developed or not. Now there are 2 things for this. It will check whether the technology technically is it possible. When we say technically, there are 2 things: software and hardware. Whether there is a software technique, I mean, whether there is a software available to develop that product, and whether the hardware is also there. So I have to check whether I have the concerned software and hardware available, or can I develop it for this product or for this requirement. The next thing is, yes ma'am, I can develop software and hardware for this. Yes, but if the cost exceeds your budget and the customer budget, will you agree? Is it feasible? No, right? That also we check whether it is cost effective. You have given a quotation, but when you try to set develop that software and hardware, can I really develop it? So that within my budget. So that is given here. Yes, your requirement. Let's take for example, your requirement is an iPad. Yeah, something new released, right? Okay. You say yes, I want. Yeah, so let's take this as a scenario. I want a new iPad. Yes, it is released. Fine. First of all, to buy it, you say, you give your requirements to your father. I need a new iPad. Now, first thing he will ask is whether it is available in India or somewhere you can buy. Now, if it is not available, can you get it? No, right? So, yes, it is available. It is the technology is available with so and so, you can buy. Fine. Now, the cost of it, your father's budget is 50,000 or something, your parents' budget. But that is around 1 lakh or 1.5 lakh. So, is it feasible to buy? No, right? So that is what we call as feasibility study. First, we check whether we have for to develop a software. We check whether that feasibility study, whether the requirements are feasible, and if it is feasible, yes, whether it is cost effective. So this is known as feasibility study. Did you get it? Yeah. What is feasibility study? One of the very important questions. Next, what we have is requirement elicitation and analysis. Next step. See, in requirements engineering, only you have another four steps. First step is over. Next is requirement elicitation. Yes, you can buy. I mean, the software can be developed. There is software technology, hardware technology. It is within our budget or cost effective, everything. So, once we say yes, it is possible, then only we go to the next step. What is that next step? The next step is elicitation and analysis. Now, here we come up with the system requirements to the existing system. When already the system exists, the system exists in the sense physically for I am developing for some company. So I go through that company, I observe how the company works and come up with my requirements. Here, how do I come up with the requirements? It may involve talking with the people who are not, ma'am. It may involve asking them what they are doing, I mean how they are working, what are the requirements, what are the procedures they follow, analyzing each of them. It is all done in requirements elicitation and analysis. What is the task and so on. So see, basically here we try to get in detail about the system requirements, how it is working, what is going on, what are the tasks. Fine. So when I do this, what we do is simply we get to know, or simply we try to come up with the requirements. No, here we develop a model of that system. Model means also known as a prototype of the system. Prototype means it is not a complete, it is not a system itself. It is a model of a system with a little bit of functionality. Why do we do this? When we do this, we will be sure that this system will work. We will get to know if there are any complexities, or whether this system what I am trying to develop, we don't say beta version side, it is not a version actually. This prototypes will never be a working version. It will only be a model of that. I mean, okay, and I can tell you is um, for architectural plans, okay, they come up with a model of that building, right? Yes, the model of the building with all the things. The model can be very sophisticated or it can be very simple, right? So It depends upon your time. Most of the time that prototype will not be too much of a sophisticated, because you'll be spending too much of time on that. Fine. So what we do here is they come up with a prototype or a model of that, only to see that yes, I can use, let's say for example, I'm using a .NET and Java is what the technology. In feasibility study they say yes, it is possible, but here I'm still in a doubt. So what I do is I develop a program wherein a .NET application is calling a Java web service or something like that, to see whether it is actually working. That kind of communication is possible. Okay. Let's say for example you're coming up with an Android, something new Android OS, so you want to work or check it with 5G or some kind of network. That is what your product is about. You can't just, yes it is possible, but you want to test whether this both technologies work. You'll just write a small application wherein this is calling that, something like that. So that is known as prototype or a model. Fine with this? So in an elicitation and analysis, what you do is you get to know what are the requirements, what has to be done. By analyzing the system, you go through it and develop the model. Okay. Next is requirement specification. Now you know it is possible. You are come up with a model. Next thing is specification. In specification, what I do is the activity of whatever is information is gathered during the analysis activity. Okay, I come up with a document about that. See, this is very important. I know what to do. I come up with a prototype and I can't just go to next thing, designing and developing it. No, whatever I have understood, I will write it down into a document. Okay, and this is known as a set of requirements document. This will have both user requirements and system requirements. User requirements in the sense, what does the customer or the end user want. Every place the user here means the customer or the end user. System requirements is the functionality what is in turn done by the system. So everything is documented within a document known as software requirements document. You will study in turn about this again, more about it. So we come up with a document. What is the use of this document? See, the use of these kinds of is like it is like an agreement. Why do you come up with an agreement? See, if you are buying a property from someone, don't you come up with an agreement? Let's say for example you are building a house, don't you come up with an agreement with the contractor? Why do you come up with an agreement? Yes, why do you come up with an agreement? Let's take for house construction. Why do you come up with an agreement with the contractor? Yeah, don't you come up with agreement? Yes. Yes, no disputes later. It is a proof. Now, if you say I want a duplex building and the architect has or the contractor has come up with only one single floor, will you accept it? He will say no. This is what you have said. You will say no. Will the written words or mean will have any value then? No, right? You would come up with a written document of what and all is required, what and all your specification is, right? So that there are no disputes like what Aryan says. That is why documents are also in software thing also. There is a written document, and to tell you it is signed by here also, it is signed by the customer and by the company and by the end user. All of them will sign it, and even the person developing it also will sign that I will come up with this functionality, so that later they don't fight that this is what you said or that. So this document is very important, right? So in order to come up with a document, you require what? The specification, the earlier stages. That is elicitation, analysis, feasibility study, everything is required. Well, what if the document is wrong? That's why the end user, the customer, everyone will go through this document and sign it. If you simply sign it without anything, later not anything can happen and you will be held. You just can't say yes, sir. Nope, not possible. Most of the time, that is what happens. The customer would have signed the document. The company will deliver it, but you will say, no, this is not what I wanted. The company people will say, this is agreement what we have agreed. We cannot do anything. So what the customer has to do, he has to pay and get that product, and he will never use that product because that is not what he wanted. So the customer should be very careful to see whether everything is there within this document. So when does it check? Where does it check? This is what is done in validation. It is checked for consistency, completeness, all the requirements are added, whether they are proper. All that is done, and if there is any problems or if there is any mistakes, they are corrected. That is, they go back again to specification, backtracking happens, specification change it, check whether in the analysis it is possible, and come up with that. Now, today, did you understand? Now, whatever I thought, can you check whether this holds good? I do feasibility study, then let check. We have to come up with a report. Is it actually possible? That is what is given here. Then in elicitation and analysis, system model means prototype. I have come up with this prototype. This I can put into requirements document also. After that, I go to specification. I know what are the requirements from the user and the system, and I come up with a document. So in validation, I go to the next step. Here, I check up with the requirements document whether it is valid. If there is any problem, I go back to my specification, correct it, go back to elicitations, check it. Fine. I'll give you 2 minutes to grasp this. But I want you, if you have any doubts, to come up now only. Any doubts? Can I continue? Yeah, did you get anything about what I'm speaking about? Any idea? At least little bit did you understand? No, I want you to respond, otherwise it is of no use. Okay, thank you guys. Next is coming up with a design. I said design is nothing but like a plan. Now, in design, what we do is we try to understand the main functionality. There are number of types of designs. First, I will explain the types of design. Okay, then you will get to know what is design. First one is architectural design. Architectural design is like the structure of the entire system. Whatever you want, it will give you the whole system, then it will give you the subsystem within that system. That is nothing but the modules within your project or your work. I can give you one example for this. Suppose I give you one task. Okay, and I say four people in your class or in your four people team will work on that. Now, if you want to, if the time is less, what do? Don't you divide that work into four independent parts, as much as independent as possible? Yes, so that you can properly work on that parallelly. That is one product I ask you to develop. What do? You divide it into different parts, and give it to all of you, start working on that. Yes, so this is known as subsystems or modules. Yeah, so architectural design will identify the overall system and come up with or the subsystems within the system and how they are related. Okay, that is identified within this architectural design. So if there is a one single system, fine, it will divide it into subsystems or modules in architectural design. In interface design, what happens is, yes, I have divided into subsystem. How will each of these work together or interact with other? Now, let's say for example, I have an admin module, I have another module. I have module 1 and module 2. There are four modules. Each of the student is working in one of the modules. Now, there is a communication between module 1 and module 2. How does that communication happen? Or how do they communicate? That is defined in your interface design. Did you get it? So interface design gives how the systems interact with one another, or how the modules which we have identified in the architecture interact with one another. Next, we have component design. Now, I said there are four modules. How does each of the module, how they work, what they do? The design of each of these module is given within component design. Next, we have database design. Now, there is a number of data within your system. What we are trying to manipulate, do things, accessing or doing it. Now, computer program is nothing but accessing data or manipulating data. How these data are organized, where are we storing them, how do we retrieve them? All that is given within database design. Again, I will give you an example and tell you. See, if there is one system, I ask you to develop a team of four. Fine. What do? You divide that system into four parts. Yes, that is known as architectural design. When you have divided into four parts, yes, there is interaction between each of those four parts. How do they interact? That is given within interface design. Now, how does each of the part in turn work? That is known as component design. There is data within these modules, how they are organized, accessed, everything, that is known as database design. Ma'am, will there be such big projects? I will tell you, when you're working in a multinational company, what happens is, the design will be such, the product will be so big that modules or components, the architecture, some system architect, there is a person called a system architect or product owner or product architect. What they do is they come up with the architecture of the product, software product, and they give those components, some of the components they develop in on site and off site. Yes, have you? I think if your parents are working or if your relatives or someone, you would have said them they are in calls, their team members are in US or something like that and all, right? Why? Because one module, one person is working, and the other module is someone else is working in India, right? Independently they are working. Right, and each of them will have their own design. Sometimes it happens is one of the component here and here. In India again they divide that component into sub component and someone is working in the sub component level. So there can be hierarchy based on the levels. Did you get it? This design. You're not responding, you're not saying no or anything. Next, I will see all the people who are here and I'll ask you. So this is the best I can do because problem is you have not studied this. I mean, previously you had this in sixth semester. By then you had so much idea. You had studied DBMS. You would have studied, done mini projects and everything. But now you have it in third semester. It is both advantages and disadvantages. So even if you understand 70 to 80% of this subject, then I would be more than happy. Okay. So at least now you are 50%. Did you get what I'm trying to tell? Then it's good. So what we do in this design is we try to come up with architectural design, interface design. All these are done here. That is, we identify the submodules and how these submodules interact. Then how does this each of the submodule is again designed, and then we have the database design. So these are the design activities, four things. Okay, where do they get input from? They get input from one of the main thing what you have, requirement specification, from the data description, from the platform what you are developing. So from your requirement specification comes these design activities. And once I'm done with the design, what will be the output of that? You will get an architectural diagram. You will see later there are architectural diagrams, database specification, interface. All these are nothing but documents. They contain the data and component specification, how they are developed, what are the technology, everything. Suppose I ask you to develop, let's say for example, I want you to develop a mailing system, okay, like your Google Mail. Yeah, I ask a team of 4 to work in. Now, when I give a team of 4, all of you simply will you simultaneously work? No. Your friend, someone will be the lead. He will say, I will work on the UI part. One will say, I will work on the login thing. One will say, I will work on the backend system, storing the mails and all that. Right? The other will be something like, yes, I will work on interface, what data has to be sent. And now those who are working on the login part or web pages, they what do? In turn, they divide it into number of pages, right? Like that, what in all the system has to do, everything. And you also have to come up with what technology you are using, whether you will use .NET, whether you will use Java, whether you will use whatever web services, functions, all that. So everything is designed or decided within this design phase. Yeah, am I clear? Now next, if I have more on this, I will not go further. Not only that, once I do it, we once the design is over, we develop that system. Okay. Development is nothing but we see the design document and develop the system. Next is, so design and development will come under one phase. Next is, we say design and development or design and implementation. Next, what we have is validation, verification and validation. Verification is checking whether it conforms to the specification. Validation is testing it to see whether all the errors are verified or debugged. Okay, please go through that slide. ಬರಿಬೇಕಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಿಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ ಕೊಡಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡಿ ಜಾನ್ವಿ ನಾನು ಬರಿತೀನಿ
ಏನ್ ಬರಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ it covers basics units commands and programming like shellcrawler. The last session are not included in the syllabus. So the gap identified is students do not have hands-on experience with Linux commands.
ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಡು ನಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಆನ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಅಂತ ಬರೀತೀನಿ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಕಟ್ಬೇಡ
Do not have hands-on with Unix commands and programming.
ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ
Hands-on session with Unix command and programming.
ಇದು ಸಂಧ್ಯಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಹತ್ರ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಹಾಕ್ಸಿ ನೋಡೋಣ ಅವ್ರ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ಯಾರ ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಫೈಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿದೆ ನಾನು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದು ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ Okay, sorry guys, I had something to say. Fine. So, what do we do here? Here, we check for whether the system meets the specification here also. It meets the specification means we see whether the requirements are one second. Okay. Here in verification that what we do is we check into the system is doing what is expected of it. Sir. How do we know where do we check it? We check it from the requirement documents. We have specification documents, right? We check it from those requirements document. That is whatever is expected of the system, it is doing it or not. Fine. I'm sorry. Where was I? So we review and system testing is done. It involves executing the system with the test cases. Okay. Here, how do we say? How do we just check? Simply we check there is something known as system testing only is one full module which you have. So you will learn how do you validate the system, that is testing. Okay, in your coming classes. So, but mainly there are three types of testing. You have more, but yeah, you can think about here is component testing. Component testing is nothing but now you divide the system into components, modules. So each of the module is tested. Once the modules are tested, you integrate into one single thing that is known as system testing. Once the system testing is done, acceptance testing is checked to see whatever the customer wants that has been included or those features are provided. So component testing is nothing but like a unit testing which you do it, which the programmers does. System testing is once you have integrated, naturally you might say, now Will you not tell me, ma'am, if there are no modules, there is only one module in my software product, how will this work? Will you not ask me that question or doubt? Yeah, come on. What if there are no, multiple modules? There is only single module. Then, ma'am, no need of dividing. There is only one module our project will work on. Is it possible like that? Ma'am, I'm doing numbers or a calculator program in my college C program. There is no modules there. How can I apply? What do you tell for that case? First of all, understand this software process or software engineering process is applied for development if it is a medium or complex project. If it is a very simple project with 100 lines of code or 200 lines of code, you won't apply software engineering principles. Yes, for a simple program, will you do all this requirements, design, and then development and validation and testing? Will you do that one? If it is a simple programming till now, what you did? What would you do? What are the two phases will you do if you are developing a? I'm sorry. Uh, if you are asked to write a simple program, then what are the two phases which will be required for you to do? You will require to do your work. Will you require requirement specification, design, development, testing? What will you require? Yes, development, development and testing. Kavya, let's take for example, last year you did program, right? Calculator or quadratic equation. Did you design? You did only development and testing. Yes. If it is a simple program like what you did, you will do development and testing. If it is a little complicated, let's say for example, for quadratic equation, you have come up with a UI page. It will take X value, Y value, coefficients, everything. Then you might say it is little complex, ma'am. Then I will design. I will divide it into modules. One will do the UI development. I will do the. Yes, this is very good example. Let's take for example Kavya and Saifa. Okay. Now, Saif says I'm good at back-end coding. I want the quadratic equation expression and I want in a UI page. So, it is a little complex for you. So, what you do? Yes, Kavya will say, yes, both of you will be working if I give you a team. You can divide it as a modules as in the requirements you will sit with me and you will ask I will say I need a UI page. Then you will say what and all you want in the UI page, whether how many coefficient, how many variables, all that you will take from me. Yes, that is requirement gathering, requirement specification. Agreed. Then the two members will sit, they will divide that project into modules. They will say okay fine, one easy way of dividing is we will have front end and we will have back end. Front end means the UI page for that. Back end means backside doing the operation. So Kavya will say I am very good at designing UI pages, I will take. So Saif says yes, back end I will do the actual working of that. Fine. So that is design. Once they do, they start coding for that. That is development. Then component testing is Kavya will test her module. That is component testing. Yes, Saif will do his module. That is component testing. Now, once if they do, is it enough? They both work together, right? UI as well as the back end of it. Then that is known as integration testing or system testing. When you combine together, that should work properly. It should not say Kavya should be. See, if it is not working, Kavya will say no, mine as it is, it will work. Saif as it is, it will work. But when you combine, also it should work, right? Yes, that is known as system testing or integration testing. Yes, you both have done, and you tell I am done. Will you accept it? No, I will do my testing. I will check and I will try my level best to see that you both have done some mistake and I will reduce marks in it. Correct, right? That is my job. I want to see whether it is working properly and I will want to do that. That is nothing but acceptance testing. Your customer, one person will do this, together they will do system testing. The customer will see acceptance testing. Now, if I find some problems, I will it will go back to component. Now, after seeing that, I feel that yes, Kavya's UI part there was a wrong. So she will fix, she will test it. Again, they will do integration testing, both the modules. Again, they will send me for acceptance testing. Did you now understand my example? I think this is the best I could give you. So no response means no doubts. Can I go further? Here I'm taking so much time for this, but let me see. So this is how it works, sir. Requirements, first phase, second phase. Now this is the, I'm sorry, both of this is first phase. Second phase, module development. This is the third phase, integration. So when we are doing requirement specification, we come up with acceptance test plan. When we are doing integration specification and design, we come up with a system integration test plan. So this I will leave time being. Once you develop or go with system design and all, you will understand more. Okay. Next is evolution. Evolution means yes, changing customer needs, new requirements come, then we have to develop it. So to meet the changing needs of the customer, we have to have system evolution. I think you can read it. There was nothing much I can explain here. I think I've already done it. It is also known as maintenance. Yeah, this is the diagram what we have. So new system requirements come. When a new requirements come, we assess the existing system. Assess the existing system means will the new requirements fit into the existing system. Okay, if your system is earlier, that is once first time when you design the system, if it was designed properly, then you will have no issues. But if it is not designed properly, what happens is it will not take the changes. So most of the times, if it is properly designed, we can add changes to it. We propose the changes. We modify the system based on the new system, on the proposed changes. We get the new system, and it is like, yes, it goes on. To this again, requirements may add on. See, new requirements are given here. We assess the existing system whether it can take it or not. And if it can take it, then we propose the changes. See, if it is not possible, we then most of the time it is just rejected. So we propose the changes, we modify the system, and we come up with a new system. I think you can go through this. Shall I go ahead then? Any doubts? So this completes our software processes topics. Now at least let me know, did you get something into your head, or it was again nothing, ma'am? But I would like to add on, until and unless you study, I can teach you. See, for me, it is nothing that I have to prepare. I can go on telling the same thing hundred number of times, but the subject is such that you will forget. You have to repeatedly read this, and you have to by heart all the diagrams. If they ask you software process for 10 marks, then each of this, okay, it will start from, yes, I want you to tell you. See, if they ask software process activities, it will start from slide 17 and it will end at slide 28. That is around 11 slides you will have. In that, how many pictures? For requirements, you had one picture. Okay. For requirements, you have to put this picture, and requirements, what are the four phases you have to explain. Then in design and development, you have design picture, you have to write this picture and four types of design you have to explain. And next you have is validation and verification. In validation and verification, you have one picture you have to write and explain. Then you have last one is evolution. In evolution you have this picture you have to explain. See, sometimes they might ask explain evolution only in software process. Then you will write only this and explain. If they ask software processes for, let's say for example, 3 or 4 marks, then okay, fine, you just give those points and explain it, it is okay. But if they give for 8 marks or 10 marks, then you have to write completely. Anyway, you have to by heart all these pictures for all of these faces and able to explain. One thing I would like to tell is, you have to by heart those pictures. If you by heart those pictures, you will be seeing those pictures, you will be able to explain. Otherwise it will be very difficult. Fine, can I go ahead? Next is requirement engineering process. Now you might ask me, ma'am, how many times you will teach? Just now requirements diagram you showed it here. Where did I show? Slide number this one. Just now you showed, no ma'am. Yes, now you will study each of this phase again in depth. Okay. So remember to what to write when it comes. Fine. Am I clear? So all this is confusing, ma'am. Correct, right? Confusing? Only if you go through it one or two times, you will find it is very easy. There is nothing here, Greek or Latin. If you know how software development happens, like example what I gave, Kavya and Saif taking back end and front end, you can just explain by seeing those diagrams. Otherwise, it will be really difficult for you. Am I clear? Yes, respond, guys. Are you all sleeping? Only both of you. Now, no one else here in the class. Okay, Chaitra, Rishita, Harsh, Suchita, Apurva, Kushi, Bhuvanesh, M- Maitali, and Shivani, Darshan, Adish, Hemant, Rakshit, Apurva, Karthik, Medini, Ishita. Okay. Someone said last class I was a little fast. Today, okay. Were you happy with the explanation? I'm fine. I don't have any issues. But if I hope you will not feel, ma'am, you are simply dragging and we are sleepy. If you want me to go in this phase, I have no issues. I can teach you in this phase only. Okay, Abhishek, you want me to go in this speed only, Abhishek? Is it what you meant? Okay, Gaurav, I have no issues with that. As long as you are interested and fine, you are able to understand, I can go. It is, even if I'm a little bit drag or behind my syllabus, someday I can take some class or portions and I can complete. No issues with that. Okay, guys. Now, see, now it will be like first and all, it will be like too much. But now you understand the basic working, you will know what it is repetition. So let's see how you go on. Yes, starting you will find it a little difficult. Maybe after another, this module gets over, you will get a bit idea. Okay. Next. We have requirement engineering process in this module only. They will explain more about requirements engineering. In next module you have something known as design. Okay, the second phase in software development, that will be explained in detail. And last module you have evaluation, that will be explained in detail. See, this subject is nothing but those four phases which are explained in detail, nothing else. Specification, design, development, verification and evaluation. This is what you have. Fourth module, I think you have testing, that is verification. Fifth module, you have evaluation. So this is what you have, but you have in depth. That's it. So in requirements, like what you do, it gives elicitation. First, you have something known as requirement elicitation. In requirement elicitation is nothing but we analyze it, we try to see whether it is whatever we want to plan to do, whether it is feasible. If it is feasible, we come up with a what prototype. Fine. And we do analyze is what are the requirements. We sit with them and do that. Validation is nothing but check whether the requirements is proper. That is, the customer will check with the sit with the software developer and see whether it is proper or not. If it is proper, then they will cite the this thing. Then you have something known as requirements management. So let's go on with each of this. I'll explain this how this happens. Okay, but later. So what is this? Requirements elicitation is nothing but discovery. Requirements discovery. How do I get to know the requirements? Now, involves technical staff working with the customers to find the application domain. How do I collect now? I gave that example of that project with Kavya and Saif. Now, I am the customer telling them I want like an what? Let's take for example that calculator program. What I want, I can convey it in number of ways. One way is I can sit with them, discuss with them, and tell, see, this is how I want. Okay. Or I can prepare a document in one line. I will say, I want like a expression evaluation. Okay. Quadratic expression evaluation. I want a application for that. Or I can tell them, give a document with all the requirements and all that and send. Or I can say in the net there is one product. I want something similar to that. Yeah, but yeah, it has certain drawbacks or I can't use it. So I want you to develop in this way. So there are number of ways, right? Now I can see some product, show them how it is working, see this and all it should. See, it depends upon how they collect the requirements. So here in requirement elicitation and analysis, what we do is there is number of ways in which we can collect the requirements from the customer. Now this is what I said was simple quadratic equation evaluation product. Imagine if it is a very big product, right? So collecting requirements is or discovery of requirements is one of the important. Here technical staff will sit with the customers, or you'll see more ways of this collecting those requirements. Who and all are the involved people involved? So they are known as stakeholders. So stakeholders are the people who are involved with the product. So they can be the end users of the system, the managers, the engineers, now for maintenance system experts, trade union people, etc., etc. So people who are involved in the development of the system, they are all also involved in this requirement elicitation and analysis. So problem, yes ma'am, what is there in collecting the requirements, ma'am? There are certain problems. One is the stakeholders don't know what they really want. See, if you are sitting with a technical person, with a low level people, or with a manager people, there are things he may not be the right person to tell what they want. Now, if the low level person is using a product and the requirements are given by the manager, will it be correct? No, right? So, really, he will not know. And each one of them will have their own way of telling the requirements. And some of them will have conflicting requirements. And there will be certain organizational and political factors. Okay. And the requirements may change from analysis, or new stakeholders may have new requirements. Certain like this will have a problem. Don't you think such problems will arise? It will not arise. When many people are involved, most of the times there will be a problem. Let's say, for example, in your class only, if I say, have you understood? Or is my teaching proper? Few will say, yes, ma'am, it is correct. We have no issues. Others will say, oh, this is very not proper. I will not agree with this. Right? There are conflicts. So whenever requirements are gathered, because there are a number of stakeholders, a number of people involved, there will be problems with requirements. But whatever it is, we have to resolve those conflicts and come up with the requirements which is agreeable with all of them. So, yes, no matter what it is, he has to come up with the requirements and identify. So, the different stages involved in requirements are discovery, classification, and organization. Once you get to know what I have to do, I need to classify it and organize it. See, if there is one or two requirements, it is fine. You just get to know it and you start working on it. But if there are hundred of things what is required, you have to do classify it and organize it, where it comes, how it should be there. The other thing important is prioritization. Some things are more important than the others. Which are important that you should note, and you should come up with that. Why? Why it is prioritization important is, assume you have not prioritized, and there are 100 requirements. You develop 50 out of them, and all of them are some things which are not, which are not very important. They are not the core functionality of the product itself. Will the customer take that product? No, right? So it is always good to prioritize the requirements. Then you should negotiate. Why negotiate? See, if you ask someone what do you want, they will tell hundreds of things. Yes or no? If I ask you what you want, so that it will be like this, or the teaching learning process is very effective, yes, you will give certain things, feedback which is really good. But certain things will be something which cannot be achievable, right? You can give a number of things, but whatever it is the job of person who is implementing it to prioritize them and negotiate. If there are 100 and you know that you cannot develop all the 100, you should negotiate with the customer saying that first 50 is important, I will implement it. Along with that, I can give you 20 more requirements. Yes, I will develop 80 of 70 of that. So first version, we can come only of 70 of your requirements. Maybe later in the next stage, I will take next 10. Like that, you have to negotiate. Otherwise, if you take everything, you will not be able to achieve it. Next specification is nothing but whatever you have done in these steps, you will be documenting it in the what phase? Documenting it in this specification phase. See, only the feasibility and analysis you learnt in first paragraph. Now we are telling not only discover it, along with it, classify, organize, prioritize, and negotiate. Did you get this? Any doubts here? Now you can go through this diagram. I'll give you 2 minutes or 5 minutes. Okay, guys, is it fine? We, dic- we discover the requirements, we classify them, we organize them, we prioritize and negotiate. It is what when the see this all applies to complex project. Always understand you are doing or applying software engineering concepts only for very complex projects, not for simple programs. So that is where all this comes into picture. Okay, and you come up with the specification. Can I go ahead? Yes, no, what is it? Yes, Janvi, understood. So, Janvi, you're offline. Okay, fine. Okay, pa. Saw your message now, Janvi. So, these are the things what I said. The same thing what I said. You can read it once. Now you will actually study next requirements discovery only. I will have to teach you another one full half an hour class. Okay. See, it is just like you are going. How do I do requirements discovery? Yeah, I will have interview. I can go along with them. I can work with them. Have you heard about some people say they're working in the client's place? What does that mean? I mean, they are working there. They're either working there to know what how the system works there, or they have developed the system and they have installed there, and they want to check how it is working going on there, right? So let's see now. The requirements discovery only. You have some uh, information. Okay. Next is how do I discover these requirements? So now one thing is information of from the existing system. Okay, and distilling the user and system requirements from this information. See, from the existing system means, see, there is already a product. That is what I said. I said quadratic evaluation, equation evaluation. I said, I want a product. Now, I will not tell them. I will say there is one product which is available in the net. I want similarly working. So, seeing that, we can gather the requirements, right? That is one way of telling. The other way is interacting with them. That is, whoever is developing, they will interact with the stakeholders. Now, for if they are coming up with a, let's say, I can tell, hmm, suppose we want to develop a software for some supermarket, okay, for billing purpose. Now, who are the stakeholders there? Now, there will be first customers, there will be then the billing people, then there will be company owner, then there will be people who are working in the departmental that stores. Are all these the stakeholders? Ma'am, why are all they required for requirements? Let's say, for example, the company owner. Okay, why does he require this? What is his requirements? Is he has to know at the end of the day how much was the expenses or what was the bill, how many customers visited, and all of that revenue generated, all that. Right? That is the owner of that supermarket. Now, the billing person or the cashier, for him, he will say, see, I want that barcode. Sometimes it does not scan properly. Then intelligence should come. Or the customer, I don't want to type their name, then it should automatically recognize, or if it is a card, it should get the details. So he will have a set of requirements. Then person who is working in the department stores, in the different supermarket, in different thing, you should say that, see, if the product, if the customer says and I want this product, if we ask, there in the system it should say whether it is in stock or not, because every time he has to keep on searching. So the system should give list, that is his requirement. Now the customer should say, customer, right? Me, someone who goes to the supermarket, he will have set of requirements. See, I am bugged up with, they will put wrong products or something like that and all. So I have set of requirements. So these, all these stakeholders, people who are developing, they have to interact with all the stakeholders to get the requirements. So who are the stakeholders in that case? The owner, the all the four people I said. So they will interact with and get the stakeholders requirement. Yeah. So in your medical, what was that? Patient healthcare monitoring system, mental healthcare system. Okay. They say, okay, I will go to that. So this is what the stakeholders are. We interact with them and get the requirements. Any doubts still here? No. So now there were some use cases, right? What were they? Insulin control. Remember that? Yes. And what was the other thing? Patient mental health care system. That is from a remote location. They can log in into the system and monitor the health of the patient. Yeah. See, all this they will say in this example how requirements are gathered or who are the stakeholders within that. They will give the example within the textbook, taking only those cases. And in case of mental health care system, they are telling who are the stakeholders. Okay. So I think you can go through it. I'm sorry. You can go through it. Meanwhile, I'll call your attendance. Okay, let's start. Listen one. Please type one present, something like that. One, two. Answer your attendance. I'm sorry. Answer your attendance. One, absent. Okay, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. Yes, three present. I got it. Actually, I had not seen the down messages. Yeah, yeah. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Till nine, I am done. Present. 10. Okay. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.